Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Anasa. Happy New Year. Ah, great. Yes. All best wishes for the new year. It feels different, doesn't it? Everything sort of changed. There was a new moon, so that made a difference. The thing is that very much of the world in this time is experiencing Rahu in their birth charts as being activated in their major cycle, in their major life cycle of countries. And Rahu is the planet of insatiable desire, chaos, um, uh, deception, dishonesty, lying, not being able to perceive the truth, and in some cases, not even being interested in what the truth is, but more about selfish accumulation of wealth. And so this is a worldly theme. The United States, the Soviet Union. I can't list the countries right off the top of my head, but there are very many that are in Rahu cycles now. And so it is a time of change. The last time the US was in this particular cycle that it's in now was the time of the Revolutionary War. And so we are in, we're in the dice are in the tumbler, is what it feels like. And it's going to be like that. And so the real key here is not what's going on around us, but what we are able to maintain inside us. That's always going to be the solution to whatever is going on, is how are we managing our own energy? And, it's so curious to me that I was told to study astrology because as I'm coming into greater understanding, it's a lifetime study for somebody who starts at 16. So, for 4 or so years, it's nothing in really, really knowing what one is seeing in the chart. But I'm going to say that I think I was guided to study it so that I could say with some degree of secure certainty that this is what's happening in this period, and and that the only way to be in it in peace, is to know that that peace comes only from the inside. And that is the lesson of this period, that we are responsible for our own inner work, nobody else but us. And in a way, that's a great relief because we don't have to buy into anything around us to feel supported. But in another way, it's an incredible responsibility to manage what are very difficult energies and, would be under any circumstances. But fortunately, we have each other to rely on. And it feels very much like this group is going to begin to grow as people get less and less comfortable and need a space to feel that they're confidently encountering a path to their highest, best experience and holding to that through this period. So we've created a core of people who know how to hold the energy. So as other people start entering our group, It's going to be everybody's responsibility to elevate whoever comes to the experience that you're having, not joining their chaos. So we're just putting that out there so that you understand that your participation is even more important as things start to grow. Because this chaos is going to, everybody's going to feel like the dice are in the tumbler. And then when they get thrown out of the tumbler, who knows? Who knows? It's going to be a wild ride. My teacher's wife calls Rahu Mr. Toad's Wild Ride because it's just anything can happen. All bets are off. And people who we used to think were completely reliable sources of spiritual energy can end up wildly off center, this person included. So, it's your responsibility to tell me if I go wildly off center, and as it's mine to tell you. And we hold each other to our highest. And anybody who says differently has not experienced Rahu in the slightest, because it's where we really learn the lesson of self-reliance, of self-actualization, that it's really up to us to hold to the highest. That's what these lessons are about. They're not about anything else. They're not about somebody trying to take stuff from us, really. It's about us discovering where real personal power lies and holding to it. End of story. That's what every experience is really about if we examine our lives closely, and we're at the point where we can do that because we have enough experience to say that the difficult experiences, the most difficult experiences that we have had in our lives, have set the stage for us to seek spiritual understanding and to continue seeking it no matter what happens, no matter, whether a guru turns out to be the absolute truth or the absolute false presentation. And most people, including spiritual people, are a mix of both. Everybody is. So understanding that, we have great compassion for everybody else because we know that it's the hard experiences, and a lot of hard experiences come from Rahu. When Rahu is activated in our charts, and Rahu is about, not for some months, Rahu in May. I think it's May, it could be March. We keep getting confused because Jupiter moves in March and Rahu moves in May, we think, but we could have that reversed. But Jupiter will move into Gemini, which will be a good thing for most of us. And Rahu will move into Aquarius from Pisces. Now, in Pisces, it was sort of okay because Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of wisdom. And so that stabilized Rahu somewhat. When Rahu moves into Aquarius, that's where Rahu is most comfortable in the zodiac. So Rahu will be completely empowered. So between now and then, things will be crazy, but then they'll be even crazier. But before that happens, there is a conjunction in Pisces between Saturn and Rahu, and that will be a very interesting time. That's all we can say. There will probably be some unfortunate experiences on our planet. So it's a rocky time. And most astrologers who've been doing it a long time are saying, yes, every time is a rocky time, but this is particularly one. So that being said, let's meditate. Yeah, what's really important, let's focus on it. So take your attention inside because this is always the answer. And you can feel immediately as you feel into the light at the tip of your tailbone, feel for the light. The light is our guide. And begin running white light. This is our best friend. And this time is to run light, white light from the top of our head through our entire being. We'll do that for a few minutes. Turn every cell into a sponge that is just taking in this white light. And allow yourself to absorb the white light deeply, as it is the source of our inspiration. What keeps us alive and breathing in harmony with ourselves. And now joining with the huge crystalline structure at the center of the earth. Feeling that radiate up, joining the white light from heaven in our being, understanding immediately that we are not a human being having a spiritual experience, but a spiritual being having a human experience. Allowing everything that is not in harmony with this light to be released from our body. Feeling the energy of the lower chakra completely clearing with white light. Allowing our attention to move up to the energy center below our belly button. Holding our attention there, allowing all of our attention to drop down so this becomes the center of our being. Using the white light to clear. And when we're ready, moving up to the solar plexus, releasing any tightness. Moving to our heart center, Taking our attention immediately to the back of the heart, opening that place, allowing the white light to clear any residual darkness anywhere in our heart. And as each center opens, our attention naturally rises to the next energy center in our throat. When you're ready, allow the energy to naturally rise to the third eye. Noticing that the energy center is way inside the head. And to be in alignment, the back becomes fairly straight. And naturally, the energy rises to the top of the head. And then we notice the circulation going down the front and up the back. This is the Chinese medicine small celestial circle. And understanding that every pore in our body is actually an energy center, we can begin to feel ourselves as effervescent energy. And this is the beginning of spiritual practice. This is the open door to meditation. So let's sit for a few minutes in this experience in silence. When you're ready, gently open your eyes, holding to the space within yourself. We welcome your questions, your experiences, anything you'd like to share with us. We're very happy to be here with you. We wanted to add to what Rebecca said that, of course, all of this experience is about coming into the fifth dimension in yourself. Always holding love. We are guiding humanity into the fifth dimension, and it happens through big turmoil and choosing to know God, to love God, to serve God, the white light within us. This is what divinity is. This is where bliss comes from. The union with this white light. And every day we dedicate ourselves in gratitude for this awareness and love for ourselves and everyone else in our life. With great compassion as we understand that it is the experience of darkness that brings us into the light. Very often we come kicking and screaming. Holding to the love inside ourselves. How may we serve? Yes. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you so much for this information. Um, it just feels like it has been Mr. Toad's wild ride, and I've actually been on that ride a couple times when I was a kid. Going through these doors, it's dark, and you slam through these doors to another space um, on this ride. Um, it feels different today. Something opened up in me, a little more peaceful because it has been feeling quite disruptive, and also, I don't want to bring this up again, but through the therapy, I'm having to work on my homework every week. And it's just been like, whoa, it's like, good golly, it's been intense. And so it all makes somewhat sense to me that this shift is going on. Um, and to kind of batten down the hatches and just remember to go into our practice of meditation and start over. Just, I have this wonderful woman that's been in my life for years, who's my surrogate mother, who is in her process of dying. And it's just been a numerous amount of things.
Oh, this is hard.
Yes. And you, as I've been having to go through my life and kind of look at areas, patterns in myself, it's been so hard. But on the other hand, today feels like this transformation in process. And I'm so glad to be here. So it's just such a guiding light for me personally, um, especially while I've been moving through all these things in my life, having to keep the task on it. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. It's pretty wonderful that we're all together, and thank you for sharing what's going on in the planets. It makes sense.
Yes, we find it really helpful and grounding to know that it's not our fault. That there's nothing wrong with us because we're feeling chaos.
That is a very important piece. Yes.
Well, yes, that the chaos is not of our making.
Yeah.
And so, what is important is how we relate to ourselves in it. And
Yes.
if we feel like, okay, everything's really a mess, so I'm a mess and therefore it's my fault, then
Right.
we've shot ourselves in the foot again.
Right.
The real thing in this is like, oh, there's a lot of chaos. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I know where the light is, and I'm going to hold to that.
Mm.
And this chaos may or may not be mine. It is flowing through me. My body is filtering it, but I'm not doing things to contribute to it. I am coming into my highest best so that I can serve that regardless of whatever is flowing through me,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
release what's flowing through me and replace it with white light.
Yeah.
And coming here is coming to an Anasa temple.
Mm-hmm.
So your meditation is going to an Anasa temple to reestablish your center, to reestablish your relationship to this white light, because it's what we truly are. And all this other stuff is distortion.
Mm-hmm.
And rainbow light is when the distortion has been reorganized by the white light,
Mm-hmm.
and it no longer touches us. We just become a rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
But that rainbow contains all the other colors. So it's not that we disallow or deny. Denial doesn't help us at all. We completely say, this is hard. This is not easy experience. This is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
We don't pretend it's not happening,
Mm-hmm. Right.
but we hold to the light within ourselves. I mean, you're giving us a beautiful example of that.
Well, I'm so grateful that all of this is accumulating and happening for a reason. You know, just it's just it's just another way, another embodiment of how to look at this that is essential.
Well, if we understand that every experience that we have is something to bring us closer to God, to give us greater understanding of our relationship to the highest and how it is continuously educating us into how to hold the light, that we are the light, and that whenever we feel estranged from the light, it is us making a choice to be distracted from what's real. And then we don't condemn ourselves. We just say, oh, whoops, got distracted. And we
Yeah.
go back to the light.
Yeah. Thank you. That's so full of grace. I'm just thinking.
And the other thing is when we do inner work, what do? We kick up the darkness. We kick up the dust when we start
True.
to clear it.
True.
You know, anybody who does knows that it all goes straight up in the air and then comes back down. It really just moves around.
Well, thank you once again.
Hmm. Thank you for participating.
My pleasure.
Hmm. And we have lots of reasons to be grateful. The quality of our physical life experience for all of us has been unimaginable for large areas of numbers of people on this planet. We have the luxury of closing our eyes and paying attention to the white light. We have the precious freedom to choose our perspective, to choose how we worship, to choose what we believe, to choose who we love and how we love. History will probably see this as the last gasp of the white male dominance of the planet. Mhm. How may we serve further? And so we're going to say that even though it's tempting to withdraw from the world into our own world of white light, our knowledge and experience is needed at this time. So if you find yourself in some way called to share your experience, do. You don't exactly have to look for it. If it is your calling, you will feel it. And it will just come to you. You know, it may be your neighbors, it may be your relatives, it may be your friends, it could be anyone. But when called to share, number one rule is you need to be asked to share. Our tendency is to overshare where people are not quite prepared to receive what it is we have to offer. We're not looking for converts. This isn't a religion. We are available to be helpful to those who wish to be helped, who are willing to do the inner work. Sadly, most people cannot conceive of that as being important because our culture is so dominated by fostering greed and a desire for accumulation of wealth. When there is the understanding that there is enough to go around for everyone, that can all relax. But we're trained to concentrate on that which we think we don't have. And sometimes things go way off balance so that they can come back. So we have that experience of things very out of balance. So focus on the light and share wherever possible and desired. How may we serve? And Rebecca's eyes keep closing, so if you want to say something, just say, just speak.
It's become so clear that my job, if you will, is to become a clear channel to receive and share love. And to that end, I've been looking at what impedes that flow. And it's obvious to me that it's my automatic reactivity that gets in the way and um, allows for mistakes in relationships and everywhere. Um, so I'm trying to become clear, well, more aware of those moments when it seems I don't have a choice and I just react, to give it some space. And I've asked for help with that, and I've gotten so much help from everywhere. My sister, my cousin, my friends, my husband, um, my children. I mean, I could go on and on. The information is all there. To put it into practice is an ongoing task. Um, it's been going on for my whole life, but it's kind of a singular focus now because the flow uh, needs to the channels need to be completely cleaned up. And in that spirit, there is a method or something, an idea that's called Swedish death cleaning. And it looking at what is in front of me for that, for tackling that, has been for years overwhelming. And just this fall and winter, I'm actually making small inroads in the vast clutter and accumulations and wanting to be dispersing that, if you could call it wealth. Some of it is quite useful, could be quite useful. And anyway, there's a whole process, and it feels similar to the cleaning out of the reactivity and the any negativity. It's but as you say, if you're dusting, it throws it all up in the air, and that's kind of where it's at for me now. It's an ongoing process, and I know that it's possible. That's the difference, I think now. And I don't know how to let go of the reactivity and the negativity and anything that's blocking the flow of love, but I'm I've asked the universe to help and it has been helping. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm sharing that with you because I know you are a guide and an assistant to the higher levels powers, beings. Anyway, I just wanted to share that.
We have two things to say, both of them very short. When you engage in physical environment to make a change, promise yourself to engage for 5 minutes. This will keep the inertia from setting in. And then at the end of 5 minutes, you will either have forgotten that you only said 5 minutes, and usually you will be totally engaged because it has momentum, this pattern to engage and disperse, as you're saying. So we applaud all your efforts in that way. And as the physical and the emotional are interrelated in this process, and so one needs the other to be moving, and in this motion, the whole patterns change. And generally, the habitual patterns that get us into emotional hot water with other people have one common source of misunderstanding within ourselves, or almost always one common emotion that is engendered, one common negative feeling that comes up that is causes that pattern to instantaneously. And when we identify that feeling, then we can learn to, the next step after identifying that feeling, like, which is for Rebecca, is anger. You know, when we identify that feeling, then we can know that when we have that feeling, what we're about to say is going to be off. And it might be judgment. You know, anger and judgment are very tied together. And so, but being perceptive to that moment and the feeling of that moment is where our habitual misunderstanding is. And in unlocking that moment, that's where the change is. And it's similar in the physical. It's some habitual, you know, this is going to be useful to somebody someday, so I'm going to keep it. It's a very similar kind of pattern. And if you understand that it will find its area of use if you release it, then but it no longer is needed in your environment. It doesn't serve anything in your environment. It needs to be somewhere else. And then that somewhere else will appear. You'll understand where that somewhere else is, especially as you get going.
Thank you. That's so supportive. The question that I keep coming up against is that when the anger arises, there's no time between it being triggered and the reaction. And my sister was saying, there's leave a space. And I can see where that would be very helpful if it could just,
If you had a choice.
yeah, if I had a choice.
So anger, go ahead. We don't want to interrupt.
No, you go.
Anger is the anger that flies off is already accumulated in you. And so the key is to release the accumulation regularly before it gets so thick that it's waiting for an opportunity to fire off. And so the way to do that is to discover for you what releases that energy before it accumulates. And
That's so
usually,
great because that goes right along with the accumulation of stuff, you know?
exactly, it's the same pattern. It's the same pattern. So as you get rid of the stuff, the energy of anger will get less. They're completely reciprocally related. So if you're
Okay.
starting to feel any anger, go work on the stuff.
I'm sorry, I have to leave and go to the garage.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, if I had my wits about me, I could say that. The thing that it seems so instantaneous, and I don't have any wits at that time.
Well, you
It
assume that,
seems I don't have a choice.
well, this is why we say 5 minutes every day. You,
Oh, you cut out when you were saying 5 minutes of what? What?
oh, you, you make a contract with yourself that you will spend 5 minutes clearing stuff every day. And
Okay,
usually,
yeah, I've sort of been doing that.
and usually after 5 minutes, you're engaged. You've forgotten that you said only 5 minutes, and you will go until you reach a natural stopping point. And we will say this, and there are other people on this call who are much more organized than us, so we invite their input. But we will say that having piles that are going to go certain places, like this is trash, this gets recycled as old electronics, this gets recycled as somebody's kitchen, you make these piles of where things are going to go so that you have some destination in mind with stuff. We invite others to contribute with suggestions because this is not our best area. We have similar issues to yours. And so we'll ask for advice in this and input. We know there are at least two people on this call who really understand organization. So we invite their input.
Okay. Well, I want to share that I have been very successful with the gentle art of Swedish death cleaning. And I can promise you that as you go along, you will feel such a lightness having dispensed with all of that, because all of that accumulation holds energy. And so when you disperse that, and one of the nicest part of that is that if there are things that you want to leave people, as you know, the book says, give it to them now. And it's turned in such a beautiful process for me because it's allowed me to be in touch with people that I haven't been in touch with for quite a while. And they were so happy to hear from me and to receive that little something or other. So I'm just a great proponent, as you know, of organizing, discarding. I had one teacher who used to say, you need to handle a piece of paper once. And that's a beautiful thing. You don't accumulate. You just handle it once and it's done with. That's not something that's going to sap your energy. So I just feel that particularly that Swedish art of death cleaning has been so wonderful for me. When you get rid of that stuff, it's such a lightness, and that lightness brings energy with it, nice energy, and such a sense of accomplishment.
So is
Because
this a
when we've
book?
got all that stuff accumulating, for me, there is a little voice that says, you got to this is not good. You got to get rid of this stuff. This is bogging you down, which it is. So it's a happy thing.
Is this a book?
Yes, it is. Margaretha, oh, I guess I don't know if you have the book there with you, but it's called The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning.
Okay. Brenda will put
Margaretha,
that.
and I can't think of her last name.
Brenda will put that title in the chat. So
I wanted
thank
to
you.
ask Constance, thank you, Constance. I wanted to ask you, one of the hurdles is I have great stuff. I realized a lot of it, why I still have it. I would like to give it or disperse it to the proper place. The only thing I've come up with, we live in the country. I don't know the donation places, different groups that are doing things. I was thinking of doing a free garage sale. It, so you couldn't call it a sale, but to lay everything out and allow people to come in to our driveway and our property and our grove and just take things away, because we've set them out on the driveway, big things, and they're gone in a day. So I know people come by and you know can use things, but that's the only thing I can think of.
That's
I've
a
got
beautiful, beautiful gesture. Thank you for doing
That
that. That's
works.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's working. The other thing you can do is have a garage sale and charge $2. Then people will feel like they're getting something for nothing. But there's something about having flow in there that engenders participation. Just have the feeling. I mean, even if you charge $1, but it seems like $2 is is that just feels like a more right number. But that will attract people. Whereas if you say free, they might not believe it.
and they might think it's trash.
Yes, yes.
um how about a donation?
I
Have a
think that's a great
donation.
idea, and it's that has that for me that was that's the hardest part of all of this because a lot of places won't accept things.
Yes.
You know, um, if you have electronics, I have a place for you in Portland, Free Geek, and they have certain donation days and hours. Uh, Goodwill's always good. Um, there are some VA services that you can call, and they will come and pick up stuff.
Yeah, Brenda also has a list. She's very good at this.
So, I mean, there are lots of resources, but it does entail a little bit of research, and especially you live out in the country, discover who's going to be willing to come out there and pick up the stuff. So it's an exciting process. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you so much.
And this is exactly the way to look at it. Thank you so much, Constance. It's perfect because be excited for the change in your life. And
Yeah,
every new space that you have gathered in your own space is precious. It's more flow.
it's a great opportunity for deep breathing. When you let that go, you just take a big, deep breath. Ah, beautiful.
And I walk by it and it just makes me happy.
Yes, yes.
I open my utensil drawers and I go, hey, look, only things that I use in this drawer.
Yay. Congratulations.
This is huge.
Yes, it
Unburdening
is.
ourselves of stuff.
Yeah. Because
And
we don't need much.
it's true, we don't need much, and there are so many people out there who do need the things that we need to recycle. Mm, thank you.
Thank
Beautiful
you all.
conversation. Yes. Anything else anybody wants to say about this or anything else? And thank you so much, Constance.
Oh, I wish I had transportation. I'd love to come out and help you.
I have somebody in mind that might want your help
Oh, great.
besides me, who lives closer.
Okay. Let me know. I'm happy to help.
We love this.
These are always exciting projects for me.
What else? Ah. Thank you so much. So it's getting to be that time. Let's go back into meditation because really this is what we're aiming for. We're decluttering our internal space so that we can be so clearly a vessel for divine love.
I
As
just wanted to add one little bit
yes,
about the art of Swedish death cleaning, which, for me, I get so excited, as you can tell. But I caught this comedian who said that she had heard about the book and she decided, one of the ideas is to clear this up so your children don't have anything to clear up after you die. So her quip was, I've cleaned up for them their whole life. They can clean up after me. I'm not doing it. But you do this for you, not for your kids.
so beautiful. Thank you. Let's take our attention inside with pure gratitude for the experience of the morning. Feeling the white light permeate every cell of our bodies. Thank you so much for coming this morning. It's been so completely wonderful to be with you. Mm. So much love. Blessings for the week to come. See you next week. Bye for now.